more and more awake, getting up at night, spinning and turning with love, Raum. One more time. More and more awake, getting up at night, spinning and turning with love, Raum. Welcome, all of you here, all different places, all different times. And I want to share with you that was a poem with by Jalaluddin Rumi that was put to music a long time ago. I can't even tell you who it was by. It was from the Mevlevis a long, long time ago, but it's actually more and more awake, getting up at night, spinning and turning with love for Shams. And I left out for Shams because it's like Rumi's talking so much about what the card that we're going to work with today is. And I put in Raum, which is love, which is that womb that is considered to be love in the old languages. And so Shams was Rumi's beloved, and he had put everything of himself into Shams, and when Shams left, Rumi went into this desperateness of literally not being able to sleep or eat or do anything. He was just, his whole mind, it's all about this card, was obsessed with this worry and concern that he would never see Shams again. And I won't go into the whole story, but that this is the experience of what happens for us when we can't sleep at night. So we're going to start with the invocation from Anayat Khan. And if you don't know it, it's right there on the screen. It's a beautiful one to keep remembering that what happens in the worry is that we're no longer going toward the one, we are going toward the many thoughts that are arising in that moment.
Toward the one and toward the all.
Right. So we're going to say this as a remembrance of what we're doing today. Toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, the Spirit of guidance. And here we have the card for today. The Nine of Swords. The swords are whirling, whirling, whirling all around this poor person's head in this half lit, half dark yurt-like structure while they're in bed, unable to sleep. I dare to say most of you have probably experienced this at one point in time in your life, where there's
perhaps last night.
Yeah, whatever. When there's just so much going on in the head that you can't stop it, you can't turn it off. It just is whirling, whirling, whirling. So I loved the juxtaposition with that poem by Rumi, because what would happen if we whirl with it, if we go with it and we just begin to drop some of the thoughts and we go into the actual feeling and action of the experience? Because underneath all of that worry is fear of some sort. And underneath that fear is some way in which it feels like our world is falling apart. some way in which we're afraid things will not continue in the same way, or that they're going to be even worse, or whatever it happens to be, there's a sense that we are not okay. Something's threatening us. And so all those thought patterns that go on about that threat, whether that's a person out there, whether it's people, whether it's conditions, whether it's circumstances, you can see it's really all about this terrible fear that we're not okay. So that's why sending and connecting in with that raw that we've been working with for a while, that sense of, I love the raw because the raw really resonates in the heart, raw, and then the last part, comes down into the womb, comes down into that sense of grounding. And so it brings that sense of that love back to that original womb. And that's really so much of what we're afraid we're not being held. We're afraid that there's nobody there with us underneath all of the other worries, whether it's political. I mean, there's so many things we can latch onto. So that's what we're going to work with today. And
so, yeah, when you said it's that Raum is that womb that's holding, really, we can say, our original wounds. Because the things on the outside that create the fear, I mean, everything's impermanent. We're all going to die at some point in time. We're all going to lose control. Everything we cherish will fall away. And the only thing that's left are our actions and our essence. So there is those deep, deep wounds. And sometimes it may be from very early experience, like with Rumi, who needed shams because he lost his mother, he lost his town. He had tremendous abandonment and neglect. He wandered with his family in their caravan for years. So there's a tremendous sense of deficiency. And then shams, the loss of shams, who filled that, was that womb for him. When the shams went away, it brought up those very early wounded states. And that's what it's so hard to hold, because the outer world is going to do what it is, but it's holding those sometimes infant states and parts or selves that did disintegrate and that everything did fall apart and didn't have the strength and capacity to hold that and needed it from outside. On Soul Work, we're beginning to provide that through our community and through our inner work with those resources inside, especially high self, our guides, and conscious self, with that support holding those really deeply wounded places where everything did fall apart.
Fell apart, and it didn't totally fall apart.
Because we're still here.
That's right.
I'm still standing, as Elton John would say.
Right, so both are true. That's the paradox. It felt to that those younger parts of ourselves that it did fall apart. And yet at the same time, we survived. Who was holding us? How did that happen?
Well, sometimes with a lot of protectors.
Yes, but still there wasn't a way of surviving. You know, that's actually pretty amazing. So welcome to you all. I know there's someone here who I haven't met yet today, and Rania, if you feel that you want to come on and ask questions after we finish this, we're really open to that. So.
And we'll do a body induction if you're new to soul work, going through to induct and balance the nervous system. And Yaya will lead that, and then we'll go into a guided meditation. And both of those will try to embody and work with the energy in this card. Yeah.
So really letting yourself start with some nice big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose to really find that sense of your own stability right now in your body, that earth, that wonderful earth energy. Breathing in consciously through the nose, out through the nose, and feeling your feet on the floor. You can knead them a little bit, K-N-E-A-D, onto the floor, and really just feeling that sense of all the different surfaces of the feet and the toes touching into the earth so that you can really feel yourself. I'm here right now. I'm grounded. Letting yourself feel the dependability of that floor that's underneath your feet. That earth outside, that mother, the larger mother than our own. And then letting yourself feel maybe even a little bit heavier, so that it's going to be, because the swords, which is what we're looking at in the card, they're air. And in order to go into air, we really need to let ourselves feel very deeply rooted in earth. So letting ourselves feel even a little bit of the heaviness of the body. You can bend your knees a little bit, but just really continuing to breathe deep, rich, full breaths in and out of the nose. And on that exhale, really feeling that sense of the downward pull of gravity, and that sense of really feeling into how our own bodies just naturally pull us towards the earth. Letting that happen with each breath. And as we start to feel some of that ground, some of that sturdiness of being connected to the earth, being connected to our own bodies, we're just going to ask the question about asking any part of ourself that really has been worrying, bringing our attention to something that seems concerning. As you breathe in deep, rich, full breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose, just asking it if it could tell you about one worry it has. And then just hearing that worry, not into the full explanation of it, of what could happen or what's going to happen or all the ins and outs of it, but instead just hearing what it's really worried about. Maybe it's worried it's going to die, that it's going to be suffering, it's going to be in a bad way, it's going to be left alone. Hearing underneath all those other circumstantial words, what's the real worry here? What's the real fear? As we're just letting ourselves ground in our bodies and our breath. And then beginning to really acknowledge, okay, we understand. This is a really core fear, and it's okay to have that fear. We're going to hold you in that fear. So we're going to begin to help ourselves to go away from the words and into any places in our body that holds it, letting that body part feel it, express it. So we're going to start with just really letting ourselves breathe the Ra, that wonderful breath of love. So breathing in Ra, you can just say it on the inhale, breathing it out on the exhale. Ra. And as we're doing this and really kind of letting ourselves feel that heaviness, that strength of our bodies, we're going to start to turn all the parts of our bodies to make sure that we're letting go of the places inside that might feel like it's like really holding on to it. So we're going to start with our feet, and we're going to turn those feet in one direction and then the other direction if you need something to hold on to keep your balance. But turning those feet as we breathe in, Raum, and breathe out, Raum. And letting it go all the way up into letting the knee be the pivot and turning that one. Then the other foot, the other leg, starting with the ankle and the foot. The sacred turning, you're letting these, all of the parts that are worried about this concern, just letting it know you're there with it. You can feel kind of the agitation maybe in there, in your legs wanting to run. And just let them turn. And letting your whole leg turn. Both ways. And when you're ready, the other leg. Sending it love. And then really feel the energy in that leg. If there's anything else that wants to speak about that worry, and you can shake it, you can jiggle it, move it, however way, to just let that whole leg know. We feel how you want to run sometimes. Good, and then letting the energy come up into the hips. Letting those hips really turn. Letting go of all the worries about survival from the base of the spine, the coccyx. It's very basic part of us that's really worried. Can we make it? We're spinning and turning with it. And then letting our whole hips kind of go into that very deep part of it, into the coccyx and the pelvic muscles, shaking it. Letting it really feel that we're here with it, even as it's expressing some of that fear. You can put your hands on it, make contact with it. And coming up into the solar plexus. All the parts of us that want to take this action, we're going to let it also, if we can, turn it. Just turn it. That wants us to do something. And we're just turning and spinning with it. Those parts that are all worried, feel like their power isn't there. They've lost their power. And then just letting this part, when it's ready, shake, letting it express all those other fears that are deep in there of like, what happens if you stop doing, if you don't have to make everything happen. And as you're ready, you can go up into your heart area and your upper chest and let that whole heart, upper chest area just move again in a circle, spinning it. And then just letting it shake in any way it needs to shake to let it express that fear, that worry. And bringing it up into the shoulders and the arms, letting your shoulders turn. Letting your elbows and your wrists turn with them. Letting the whole arm turn. And as you're ready, you can let the arms, the hands, the shoulders release any other shaky energy, just like the deer after it's been afraid of being attacked by some predator. It has to shake if it didn't get a chance to run. So we have to shake it out. Or knead it out with your hands. You can help to let it go, asking it to just say it's okay, we're here with you. The love, we're sending you love. And then coming up into your throat, your neck. And letting it turn. And then gently letting your throat shake, letting it vibrate. You can vibrate with sound. And up into your head. Letting the very top of your head turn so that you can imagine it's turning from the crown chakra. Letting it shake in any way it needs, or you can stretch the muscles, just letting it really know, I'm here with you. You don't have to hold all that energy all by yourself. I'm here with you. And then letting your whole body turn on the next one, and whatever way feels good, you can let your hands, your arms, everything turning. You can do both ways. And then letting your whole body know you're with it, with all this fear, and you can shake it, let it move in that way that the gentle, deep muscles know I'm here with you with this fear. You can touch your whole body. Let it know, I'm here with you. You're not alone. And then settling back in again into just being present in your body right now. And beginning to breathe gently in and out through the mouth. Feeling that air energy coming through us. We can hold it in love right now, that whole sense of sometimes the air becomes very agitated and worried, but also the air can be very pure. So we're going to first bring in the air through the top of the head, through that crown chakra. So just really gently turning the very, very top of your head as you breathe in through the mouth. You can breathe in and say inside Raum. You're breathing in that love. You're bringing in the energy from the universe to hold you. And then on the exhale, we will begin to turn from that base of our spine, the very, very coccyx area, and we're turning almost like you can imagine it as a corkscrew would turn deep within the earth on that exhale. So we're rauming on both of them, but we can just do it on the breath. Breathing in through the crown chakra, turning with the head, the very tip, and then corkscrewing down from that base of our spine into the earth on that exhale. And then letting go of all the movement, continuing to breathe in through the crown, out from our hara down through the base of our spine into the earth. Feeling them meet, the end of the breath in, the beginning of the breath out into the heart. And holding that concentration in the heart even while the breath is coming in from the crown and connecting us to the earth on the exhale. and holding our hearts. Let's have a seat.
Just continue with a nice, whatever breath you want, whether it's just in and out through the nose, that earth breath, or in and out through the mouth, air, or in through the nose and out through the mouth, or not even worrying about it. Just let your breath come naturally, but allowing it to stay a little richer and fuller and deeper on the inhalation. With each in-breath, you're bringing in prana and life energy and oxygen to infuse all the parts, all the cells in you that may be collapsed and overwhelmed. You're bringing life energy not only to your physical body, but to all the cells that are collapsed and overwhelmed. And with each exhalation, a rich, full exhalation, as you're releasing and letting go of stress and tension, inviting all the cells who are hypervigilant or frozen to just release the excess energy. So with each inhalation, we charge. With each exhalation, we release, and we bring our nervous system slowly into balance. And then the only thing to add to that for the next minute or two is to imagine your chest soft and porous, and breathing in and out of your heart. In and out of your heart center. And if you wander away or some self or part takes you away, just asking that one to step aside and gently coming back to this flow, this river of breath, like the wave of an ocean flowing into your body when you watch that at the beach, and then slowly flowing out, reminding all your different selves that right now there's nothing to do and nowhere to go. And right now, just for this moment, even though some parts inside may not feel safe, it's okay right now. For most of us where we are, we're in a little bubble of safety and security in this present moment. Really feeling the heart center of your breath flowing in and out. And as you continue to breathe in and out of your heart, charging and releasing with each inhalation and exhalation, just listening to these few words as we move into the garden of our hearts. The sun world dissolving. Bathing in moonlight. Dreaming while awake. And so as you breathe in and out of your heart center, just imagine what it's like today, whether it's a garden or a temple or some place that was nourishing, that was safe, that was a place where you could be rest and held like in that rahum, maybe a place you've been to on a vacation, maybe a place you went to in the summers, or a grandparents' home, or perhaps someplace you've read about or heard about or has come to you in a dream, but a place of refuge, a place of nourishment, a place of love, of harmony, of beauty. And just we'll spend a few breaths just allowing that, whether you see that or feel it or hear or taste, whatever senses feel the sacred space of your heart. Or you just imagine that as a possibility. If there are parts that are worried or upset or feel good, or all the different selves, they can just be there with you. They can come into the sacred space of your heart. letting them know you'll get to know each and every one of you over time. Each is precious in their own way. Each have their purpose or function. And you can use my voice as a guide. You may move faster or slower depending on your inner guidance. But with all love and all respect for those who are ready, calling in high self, really this inner guide, this inner beloved, this angel of our being, perhaps this celestial twin, in whatever shape, form, whether it's an animal ally, a sphere of light, a wise being, someone we were bound by a tie of love, in whatever shape or form high self comes today. We welcome you, beloved high self, for a time of communion, a time of guidance, a time of dialogue. But we begin by just breathing in whatever blessings from your presence, perhaps just a sense of a larger field of love, of presence, and breathing back love and gratitude, letting our breath be an infinity loop as we breathe in the presence, the potential, the possibility, the presence of high self, and we breathe back love and gratitude. And we ask for any guidance around those times of worry, of rumination, of fear, of panic or terror. Just like that figure with the swords, all those thoughts swirling around. We ask for your guidance on ways to help hold, ways to help understand, to bring love, compassion, curiosity to these parts that just get so lost and ruminate. It could be as simple as bringing the breath of love, of Rahum, or in whatever shape or form, breathing in, through, and around this one, especially when we find these ones in our bodies. Slowing down. We continue to open to any more guidance, and you can dialogue with High Self if you wish around this. Any questions you have for High Self around these places of worry in our lives, about how to come more into the present moment and face life as fully as we can. And we ask you to be there to support us, to support this sphere of loving awareness that each of us is, of conscious self in our core. And with all love and respect, perhaps going back to that time that arose, some time or some fear of worry that's perhaps present in your life now, just noticing what triggers that worry, whether it's a health concern or external problem or relationship problem or something in the collective, just seeing what the trigger is. And then, as you're ready, opening to the part or parts, the selves that this activates. And noticing where you feel this self in your body, first of all. And along with those sensations, what feelings come? Panic, distress, desperation, worry, numbing, fragmenting. What are the feelings that come? What's the experience of this self that just worries so much? And what are the thoughts and beliefs that this part has? And what behavior, what does this part want to do? Is it to collapse or run or fight or numb or dissociate? To sort of see what happens in the body, what this part would like to do. And then bringing this quality of love and compassion, just opening, seeing how you feel towards this part. And if it's anything other than love, compassion, curiosity, there's another self that's active. Because when we face our worries, there can be parts that want to push them away or collapse into them or don't like them or want to fix them. So we're just asking all those selves to step aside, because there's another way. There may be things to do, but first, the first way we approach is with this quality of loving compassion, acceptance. It's like, this part is like perhaps a small, scared child, and you're this loving parent, perhaps that you had or didn't have, supported by high self to just hold. Because oftentimes we're empathic when we hold these places in our side. That's oftentimes all that's needed. So just let this part know you're there with it, and bringing this quality of love, compassion, curiosity to this part. Perhaps letting your breath, the breath of love, and if it helps, you can always add Raum to your breath, breathing that in and out to this part. Being this loving, holding womb. Holding the way the womb held you. That the womb of the cosmos holds each of us on that archetypal level. And as you continue to hold this part, just open. Let it know that you're open to anything it wishes to share, whether it's through these feelings or sensations or memories or anything it wishes to share. And just be open, rocking this part if you want gently. You can actually hold where it is in your body if you're aware of that with a hand. Perhaps bringing the other hand to your heart, holding it, maybe gently rocking it. Just letting it know you're open if there's anything it wishes to share. If there's any way it needs to be seen or heard, you're here with it. And you have a sense of what it's like for this part. If it's just shaking and terrified, you can just say, wow, you're really shaking and terrified. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to think. You're overwhelmed. Whatever it is, just saying that gently to this part of you, perhaps 2 or 3 times. Maybe as simple as you're freaking out. Wow. letting this part know, whether through words or the love you're radiating to it, no matter what happens, I'm going to be with you through thick and thin, even until you die. And just asking this part what else it wants or needs from you today. And if you're willing, let this part know that you'll come back and visit, hold, listen. Perhaps if you're even willing, scheduling a time in the next week that you'll come back, whether it's once, and it can just be for a few minutes. You can let all the parts that are worried about everything you have to know that we could just take 3 breaths, welcome high self into our hearts, and call this one back in, just for a time of nourishment, of receiving love. Or perhaps letting this one know it can just be a little, one of those papooses that some indigenous people carry their infants in, that you could just carry this one with you. It doesn't have to be alone. Well, you can let it know it can just find a safe place in the garden of your heart to just rest. And this one can rest inside your heart. And it's hard for this one to come into your heart. Just expanding the field of your heart so it includes your whole body, a beautiful sphere of love. And then inviting this one and any other selves that may have been present to just enter into the breath of unity with you and high self, breathing together. And just breathing together a few times, Raum on the inhale, Raum on the exhale silently. And then taking a moment to thank all the selves, high self, for being here with you today. And we'll take a deep inhalation in a moment. We'll breathe Raum to our inner life. Take another inhalation, come up breathing Raum to our outer life, and slowly coming back, holding both your inner and outer lives. And then, if you wish, you can sit for a moment and reflect on your inner journey today with us. If there's anything you need to draw or write, you can do that, or stretch or move. Whatever you need to do to slowly bring yourself refreshed and alert and back to our Zoom meeting place in our Zoom community.